What is up, guys? The race wars continue, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Now, I'm reacting to a video titled "The Hatred of Straight White Men." Now, this is going to be interesting. Let's see what's going on. But hey, guys, look, like, comment, subscribe, share the video. And for more videos like this, please let me know down below. All right, let's get into it.
The Canada-United States line.
White man, how dare you? How dare you?
That was kind of
I'm a
racist.
privileged white man too. But you know what I'm
You
doing?
just called me a privileged white man.
You cannot be racist to white people because white people are the dominant race in this country.
I swear to God, I am so sick.
Can I just say, right, like, you know when you say white people are the dominant race, and sorry to pause so quickly, right, you think, I don't know, like when you say that, and then when you ask them about black people and they think they're helping black people, you just call them the dominant race. It's like, I don't know. It doesn't sound very positive towards anyone else. It seems like you're kind of complimenting them. I don't know. Anyway, it depends how you interpret it, because, you know, when they say dominant race, it can be used to, I guess, attack them. But let's just start the video. I'm so talking.
Sick of white people.
Remember when white guys used to be cool?
Side eye, you know white men and white boys have not been cool in actual uncensored history.
Okay, well, I guess it's gonna be like that then. Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. And as per usual, before we launch in today's video, let's get into the video. So back in mid-2023, I actually made another video about this exact topic, which came about after I watched a street interview where a British woman was asking people, what are straight white men good for? And the responses were about what you'd expect.
What are straight white men good for?
Straight white men?
Yeah.
Not a lot.
Yes, this basically sums up the entire vibe of the video.
What are straight white men good for?
Being rude and making you feel uncomfortable.
Of course, it's the French woman saying that other people are rude. When I was in Paris many moons ago, French people would literally pretend not to understand my French because, I don't know, I guess I sounded too Anglo. So there's that. You really gotta have some big old testes to be French and accuse other people of rudeness. Making phlegmy mouth sounds. Anyway.
Yeah, that's a fair point. The French aren't, and literally, I've had so many I know so many people, right, that have been to France and told me that they're just rude. So it's not like a one occasion thing, guys. Like, she's 100% right there. So I'm sorry if you're French and you happen to be watching this, I apologize, but yeah.
In that video, I explained why and how we've gotten to the point where it seems to be socially acceptable and borderline normal to mock, degrade, and express open hostility towards not only white people, but straight white men specifically. And in the 2 years or so since I made that video, not a whole lot has changed, and honestly, I would argue that things have gotten worse, leaving me with many, many more examples to show you. And just to reiterate a core point I made previously, it might seem like I'm cherry picking the examples that I use here, but I'm really not. It is not remotely challenging to find supporting evidence for what I'm describing here. And the hostility being openly espoused here is not exclusively from lunatic people on TikTok. It is openly expressed in film and television by talking heads, journalists, politicians, and so on.
In America, there's a thing about both white vigilantism and white tears, particularly male white tears.
And yes, of course, by the freaks on TikTok.
If white people don't deal with themselves and their wickedness, we are going to suffer as a group of people continually, not just black people, but people of color all over the world.
White people, we have always been the problem. Since the beginning of this fucking country, bitch. Colonizers, oppressors. You choose to continue to live that way.
White people who have this kind of white guilt are incredibly confusing to me. They insist on apologizing for Western society. What are you sorry for? iPhones?
Seeing poor white men is like seeing Jamaicans losing in a sprint. This game was designed for you to win.
This is such a weird statement. Listen, I'm just happy for the white guys that they're collectively finding out that they have no obstacles. Must be nice to know that you're immune to poverty. And how could you have possibly found this out if it weren't for the insane people on TikTok?
The
White
Canada,
man,
United
you
States line.
privileged white man. How dare you? How dare you?
That was kind of
I'm a
racist.
privileged white man too. But you know what I'm
You
doing?
just called me a privileged white man.
You cannot be racist to white people because white people are the dominant race in this country. Full stop.
You were calling me privileged when you don't know anything about me. I could have grown up in Section 8 housing.
This is privilege.
Okay, all right.
Tell me this. Tell me.
Now, what put this back on my radar was a story from mid-May, when the illustrious David Hogg was all but removed from his role as a vice chair of the DNC. That stands for the Democratic National Committee, for those of you who don't know but find hard news incredibly boring. And if you don't know what that is, you too have access to the internet. Because I am not your personal Google. I'm not even my own personal Google. The story goes that Hogg was basically removed from his position because his election to that position violated the DNC's gender parity rules. One of the losing female candidates argued that the voting process that elected Hogg in the first place disadvantaged women and thus he must be scrapped. During an interview with Bill Maher, Hogg explained all of this himself.
Part of the claim, so not to bore people, but to get into the bureaucracy of the DNC, we have a gender balance rule at the DNC because, of course, we do.
Equal
and,
okay.
And
so right away.
By the way, the Republican Party does too. If the chair is a male, then the vice chair has to be a female.
Well, what's interesting is that's even more progressive than our vision, which is that the chair doesn't count towards the gender balance rule that we have. Frankly, I don't even know if it makes sense for us to have the gender balance rule anymore in this day and age because I want to focus on whoever's just best at the job.
Great.
At this point, that's my own view.
I kind of hate that I agree with some of the things that he's saying now. It feels weird. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like something is just inherently not okay. David, are we becoming friends? Now I actually feel a little bit bad for all of the mean memes that I've posted about him in the past. But you know what I don't feel bad about? Getting accurate news and information, thanks to Ground News. So obviously...
Look, before we do this ad, right, obviously, look, that video before, I mean, I don't know that this other guy, but the video before, the guy saying, like, this is privilege, skin color. Again, it's like, it's just an annoying thing to hear because these same people will talk to black people and it's like, you just talk down to black people. Like, I don't know, these people, the way these people annoy white people, they annoy me as well because they talk down to, but there's so many successful black people that this is privilege thing is so stupid. You can be, especially in America. Like, America is the one country where you can succeed and be any color. Like, you can literally, no matter what color you are. Like, I'm from the UK, right? But even in the UK as well, obviously, but especially in America. Like, if you're American saying this, come on. Like, you have that much privilege as an American that you're screaming about privilege within privilege. Like, it's just a loop of stupidness. Like, you don't understand being an American citizen is a privilege in itself. Like, so you screaming about skin color, it's not about skin color. It doesn't matter. It's either you're good or you're not. Now, if you want to scream about white people maybe being more successful in America, I mean, there's more of them. Plus, if you look at the black community, I mean, it's riddled with crime over there. So if you want to talk about, I don't think it's not necessarily a race thing. I guess it's more of just a culture thing. If anything, it's more of they just have a better culture in terms of work and in terms of, like, obviously, look, I love my own culture, right? I love black culture, obviously, but in terms of like the working together, you know, I don't know. If you ask a white guy how he grew up, he's typically gonna be way different to a black guy. Now, I know you're gonna get poor white people, obviously, right? But if you look at like the culture, typically, it's a culture thing of why there's such a difference in colors. It's not there are some boogeyman, white people, some boogeyman that we can't overcome. No, because there's so many successful black people now in this day and age. It's not like how it was before, where you didn't see us on TV, you didn't see us in music, you didn't see us in anything else. It's not how it was before. So again, every time I hear this or I see white people feeling this white guilt or pointing at their skin color thinking they have privilege, it's really just annoying. It's really just annoying because, again, I mean, there's poor white people. there's white people that haven't succeeded in stuff. So I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's stupid, basically, guys. Let's continue, though. I just had to get a little rant off, but let's continue. Well, let's get this ad first, then let's continue.
Anyway, regardless if you like this kid or not, or agree with him or not, it does seem that he was elected to his position completely fair and square. And the only reason now why he's seemingly on the chopping block is because he's a man who doesn't meet the DNC's gender quotas. I've actually seen a bunch of people calling this out, saying that he was too straight and too white to meet the organization's DEI standards. And to be fair, that doesn't sound too shocking to me at all. You know, coming from the party that routinely elevates people based on their sex and skin color alone.
You exist in the context of all in which you live and what came before you.
What the fuck? Anytime I see really any clip of this woman, it feels like a fever dream. I will also note, for our David Hogg story to be completely rounded out, we do have to assume that he is in fact straight. And I don't know if this is a man who yearns for the teat. To touch the teat, not whatever other things that are weird that you might do with teats. Okay. Editing Sydney, please don't leave this in. Yeah, this is absolutely being left in. People need to know that mentally you're not okay. Anyway, long story short, seeing David Hogg being treated this way for simply being a straight white man is honestly not terribly surprising. Especially when you consider the fact that his very party has spent God knows how long trashing not only white men, but just men in general. In only the last few weeks, a 2018 clip of Ilhan Omar has started to do the rounds again on social media, where she said that white men are the biggest threat to people living in America.
A lot of conservatives in particular would say that the rise in Islamophobia is a result not of hate, but of fear, a legitimate fear, they say, of quote-unquote jihadist terrorism, whether it's Fort Hood or San Bernardino or the recent truck attack in New York. What do you say to them?
I would say our country should be more fearful of white men across our country, because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country. We should be profiling, monitoring, and creating policies to fight the radicalization of white men.
Okay, Ilhan.
Okay, look, just a pause, right? Look, I don't know about that stuff in New York. I'm not going to comment on that. I don't know. But the statement of white men are committing more crimes in America. Yeah, is that really the case? Is that real? What crimes are we talking about? What I mean, it depends what crimes you're talking about, because that's just a broad statement, isn't it? It depends what crimes. But even then, I mean, most of the statistics I see people that look like me in there, and I know, or I guess, is people from her background, maybe. I don't know about that. I don't know. But in terms of like my community, I do see a lot of black people in those statistics. I guess maybe we're talking about illegal immigrants. I guess there's a lot of illegal immigrants coming from various countries as well. But white men, the fact that they make up most, I mean, the fact that white people make up, I don't know about white men, but white people make up most of the country, right? The fact that they make up most of the country, they're not that high in a lot of stats. Like, I mean, I guess if you're talking about, if you want to cherry pick stats, and you're talking about like school shooters, and I guess school shooters is one where they dominate, right? And there's other statistics as well. But if you want to cherry pick statistics, sure, but then you'd have to look at how much school shootings actually happen in a year compared to all the other horrific crimes. So I say all that to say, I'm not an expert, but I definitely know that's not true. Just based off the most horrific statistics you see and who's committing them. God damn, but you see, videos like this, it makes me be some kind of defender of white people, bro, which is like, I don't know, I guess I'm just a defender of common sense, but I always have to take the stance because of the stupid things people say in their videos.
Tell us more. AOC has been spouting off with similar comments over the past year or so.
And throughout our history, we have also had to confront the ugly legacy and backlash of bigotry, ignorance, and white nationalism.
In this clip, she says that there are too many white men in Congress, like in the workforce.
I think one of the things that we need to take a look at is the world that they're fighting for. A world without
diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, which is to say the default, which is to say workplaces that are honestly kind of like Congress, because the population of the United States, as we mentioned, is about 59% white. Do you know what percentage of Congress is white?
I don't, but I know that we finally have 60 members of the Congressional Black Caucus, which is progress.
But even then, 75%. White Americans make up 60%, 59% of the US population, 75% of Congress. Men are 50% of the population and make about 70% of Congress.
Congratulations, AOC. That is how percentages work. David Hogg himself has...
No, but sorry to pause again, but even with these percentages of just... Again, it's really simple. I'm hitting my mic, guys, but it's really simple, right? Let me break it down. It's really... Look, and I'm not the smartest person saying this, but I can understand this. It's because a lot of them are just really good at doing their job, so they get hired. That's literally it. They're just really good at their job and they get hired. It's not some conspiracy to stop other colours from... They're just good at their job and a lot of them get hired. I'm sorry, like, it's just... At the end of the day, people just want the best people for the job. And if it happens to be more white people that are in those positions, then I'm sorry. But again, there's been so many successful black people in different areas where it's like, you can rise up, you can rise to positions. There's nothing really stopping you. If they actually came and showed me evidence of this, then sure, but just go in, oh, there's more white people in this place, so obviously black people can't get in there. Especially in this day and age, I mean, come on, this has to be the most inclusive, I guess. What word you want to use? I don't know what word you want to use. Inclusive, accepting. This has been the most accepted generation ever, right? I mean, too accepting in some cases, too accepting, but this is the most accepting time. So I don't get this. I'm sorry, I don't. The whole notion that, again, we call that having too much white people in one place, where, you know, in a country where it is a white country, you know, it just seems weird to me. Like, I'm sorry, if you're in a white country, you're gonna see a lot of white people in positions of. I'm just saying, you know, if you don't like it, you know, you can always leave Europe. You know, I'm a black guy, so I'm gonna stay in Europe though. I'm going to stay in Europe, and I'm gonna enjoy the benefits of Europe. I'm not gonna make stupid videos complaining like this.
Called Democrats out for alienating his very demographic. In December 2024, he went on national television and said that he got immense pushback for suggesting his party reach out to young men.
At the DNC, I raised the concern of what are we going to do about young men? And I heard back from people an enormous amount of vitriol. Why would I ask that question? Why would we focus on that?
What's genuinely so funny about all of this is that while the Democratic Party has been shooting down David Hogg and his actually legitimate suggestions, and also trashing white men, they recently launched a new initiative called SAM, Speaking with American Men, to try to reconnect with you all. Apparently. Actually, they're apparently going to spend like somewhere in the realm of $20 million to study you all and buy advertisements in video games. Believe me when I say we absolutely do not need any more leftism in video games. I hate it here. It's really no secret that straight white men the world over have become very disillusioned with not only majorly left-wing parties, but left-wing politicians and general leftist narratives. And it's really not very surprising why, because like I said at the beginning of this video, you really don't have to look far at all to find very upsetting examples of the overt disdain being thrown at this demographic. And over the last 12 months or so, we have been given plenty of them. For example, back in mid-June 2024, a Disney executive admitted that the company discriminates against hiring white males.
Certainly, there have been times where, you know, there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken. But
how would they say it?
There's no way we're hiring a white male menstrual.
Like straight to you, or okay?
They'd be very careful how they message that to agents. As far as Disney's concerned, I'm a white male, and that's not who they're looking to promote at the moment. You know, I've been at the company 11 years now, so I have friends in HR and I have friends in those divisions, and they're like, look, nobody else is going to tell you this, Mike, but they're not considering any white males for the shop. They're just not. That's not what they want. We wanted to hire somebody in the department a few years ago now, who was half black, but didn't like appear half black. And there was a creative executive who was like, we're not, like, that's not what's wrong. Like, they wanted somebody in meetings who would appear a certain way, and he wasn't gonna bring that to the meeting.
Oh,
it wasn't black enough. Oh dear. Imagine we told you not black. Well, I'm sure there wasn't told, but
very progressive. First, they make the Asians white adjacent, and soon it's going to be all of the mixed race people too. Get ready. As many of you probably know firsthand, this isn't even an uncommon thing in the corporate hiring world, where plenty of job listings actively exclude white men and instead seek non-whites, women, and those of the LGBT persuasion. Funnily enough, when I was trying to find examples of all of this, I found a recently settled case from early 2024 where a company advertised a role for white US-born citizens only and was then investigated and fined by the federal government. Once again, it really doesn't matter if you think that it was right or not right that this company was able to advertise like this in the first place. I think the primary point here is that they did, then they got fined and basically sued for it, but other companies can exclude an entire cohort of people and make it very explicit that they are searching for a very specific type of candidate, and that is fine. They don't get sued, they don't get in trouble with anybody. It's socially acceptable, and I also want to highlight this ongoing case.
Now look, guys, I'm not going to take the whole video. I'm going to actually subscribe to this woman. Actually, I've never watched this channel before, right? Her name's Sydney Watson. So you guys check, it'll be linked down below. You guys check it out. But yeah, look guys, I think these are good discussions to have. I think for me personally, I just find it annoying as someone who's black, where it's like, again, imagine getting a job and you realize you only got it because of your skin color. And some people don't care. Some people have no backbone and don't care. I mean, it would bother me personally, but some people just don't care, or just act like it's a good thing, or will try to justify it with, I don't know, slavery or something. Which the whole slavery argument, I want to, someone let me know if you want to do with, just discussing that, because look, you don't even need to dive into the history of it, but the whole thing of like, oh, we can't do stuff because of slavery, it's such a dumb argument. Like, I'm not going to get into it now, because I get into it now, we're talking for ages, but it's like, let it go. But yeah, I'm sorry, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you're white especially, let me know how you feeling right now. How do you feel about this video? But yeah, I'm out. Thanks for watching.